Hi, you're tuning in to the Raging Aggron channel, and I'm your host, Genghis. And sadly, today when I started recording, I noticed that my screen recorder was broke. I cannot screen record any longer. I will try to work around it. It's a bit of a drag because it means that everything that I'm doing on the channel has to be put on hold until I fix this problem. Because everything I do has to do with screen recordings. So, sadly I can't record anything, at least today. In the best of words, it is fixed for tomorrow or Friday. But as of right now, I can't do jack shit. And it's really fucking annoying. It's really annoying because I had the whole day off. I could have recorded 5-6 episodes of Emerald and the Week 4 battle, and I could also have done a lot more for the... a lot of other things that I've actually had planned to record today, like a new series, spoilers, that would actually gone up today. Well, not today, but next week. I would record the 2 or 3 first episodes today, then it will go up next week. So that will most likely not happen now. I will have to put that on hold. Most likely, I will not be able to do that series before the holidays. So this is just like a short update video that my screen recorder broke. So let's do this. My screen recorder broke, so I cannot do any Emerald or ABL VGC battles, or I can do the battles, but I can't record them before the screen recorder is fixed. And for that to happen, I need to get a new patch for the screen recorder. All of you know that a lot of you know that I work on Mac, and the program I use to screen record is QuickTime Player. Together with to get the sound, I use a program called Soundflower, I think it's called, that makes so I can use the MDI audio adjustments to record audio directly from the screen, directly from the computer. But so I don't have to record audio through this microphone. The Sunflower works. I've checked that. It works. I get the sound, but I can only get the black screen, which is super fucking annoying. Like, really fucking annoying. So I can't record anything. So Emerald will most likely be put on hold until this problem is fixed. I will try and see if anyone else in the ABL VGC can record the screens for me. Most likely not, because I still need my team. And I like to move around. Well, I know that I haven't done that a lot because I've been a bit stretched, but when I started doing the team builders, I actually moved around a lot on the screen with my mouse cursor, and went over a lot of possibilities with each set and what I could have brought instead of what I did brought. I did more when everything was live. Sadly, I don't have the time to do live. It's so fucking annoying. Because if you didn't know, I still live at home. So most of the time, because I'm in Europe, I play a lot of Pokemon players from America, which means that when I have time to sit down and play the battles, it's like 8 to 10 a.m. for me, but it's around 2 to 4 a.m. for, not p.m., it's p.m., not a.m., I'm stupid. So yeah, when I get done, and I can sit and play the matches, it's around 8 to 10 p.m. my time, and it's around 2 to 4 p.m. American time. Well, EST, yeah, it's EST time. And most of the time, it's on Friday, Saturday, Sundays that we play. And for some reason, my parents really like to go to bed early on Fridays and Sundays. And sadly, I've been playing a lot on Sundays and Fridays. And when I've been playing on Saturdays, I still haven't been able to do live recordings because you will hear the noise from the computer, not the computer, you will hear the noise from downstairs. And it's really fucking annoying. So there will not be any live battles before I move away from here, which might take like another 2 years depending on the education I go. So yeah, Emerald will be put on hold for at least the remainder of this week. I will have an episode going up today. It should be up when I'm recording this video. So that episode will actually go live, no problem. But then there will not be an episode on Friday. There will most likely not be an episode on Monday or Wednesday next week. So that sucks. The new series that I'm thinking about doing, that I actually was going to start recording if I possibly can, is not going to be Pokemon related. Because I wanted to do something that wasn't Pokemon for a short while. Because I've done nothing but Pokemon for the last 8 months or something like that. So I feel like it would be actually pretty nice to not do anything Pokemon related. It's going to be a very quick game, not anything long. It has a lot of... it can be pretty long if you don't succeed rapidly. But we should be able to do that pretty quick. It's a game that I played a lot of times. And I think you have also played it a lot of times. So you might not be very interested in seeing it. Because you can't really do anything hard with it. But it's just something else. I don't know, if it's going to be up after the holidays, then I might not even do it, because I know that it might not take the interest of a lot of people. So it might not even happen. I hope it will, but if this problem continues, it will be really hard for me to do it. And for the ABL VGC, I don't take the ABL VGC very seriously, guys. For me, it's just like, yeah, I can play around with friends. I can play around and test new mons that I might want to draft later on into the single versions of ABL and PSL. So there will not be a lot of splendid plays, and I'm not taking it very seriously. Of course, I will try and go to playoffs, because that's where the fun starts. But before that, nah, I don't think so. It's not what I mean, VGC is nice. It's really nice in League format, actually, better than I thought it would be. But it's not really what I thought it would be. Or, yeah, I mean, it's a really nice idea. I really like it. I enjoy playing it. But I feel like, for me, I don't take it very seriously, because I rather play normal leagues, single leagues. So don't expect me playing out of my league, so to speak, because I'm not that good of a battler. There was something more that I was going to touch on before I ended this video. Something more. I can't really remember what it was. Yes. So next year there will be a break no matter what. So next year I decided to become a teacher from week 4 to 7, or week 4 to 8 actually. I will not be home at all. I will be home, but I will not be home whole days. Like now, that when I don't have any lectures, like 2 to 3 times a week, more or less, and the lectures I have is 2 hours, so I can record on the afternoon, I can record early mornings. I will not be able to do that then, because I will be out on the school practicing the work that I will take on later. Which means that I will not be able to record during almost a month. Well, it will be a month actually. I will not be able to record during the whole of February, more or less. And if I have the time to put up one or more videos, I would be very surprised. Very, very surprised. But I will try to get one video a week up during that time, and that would be some more funky videos. I mean, I said that we were going to take some OU laddering to the channel, and I played some OU on the off screen, so to speak, when I'm not recording, and I don't dig the format at all. It's something about OU and Junior, for that matter, that feels very, very off for me. I can't get my head around it because, I'm that guy that I don't like to play stall. I don't like at all to use stall, and I don't really like to face stall. And the OG ladder is filled with stall. And that is so fucking annoying, because if you face stall, you can't stall it down with stall, unless you're very skilled at it. I'm not. Which means that you have to go with hyper offense versus it. And I'm not that skilled with hyper offense. Which means that I sit there with my half-ass bulk offense team and can't do jack shit versus the team I'm facing. So it's not that I'm... Like, I think I am like at 1150 on the ladder, and it's not like I'm a poor battler, it's more like the style that I'm facing isn't working for me. Because if you remember the late Auras meta, if you had bulky offense, you run through the tiers. Like, no matter what you did, hardly anything could stop you. But with the introduction of the Tapus, Tapufini, stall has been very, very prominent, and compare stall with the likes of, well, Toxic Spikes, Protect, what else can you see? I've seen Parasong, Mean Look Parasong sometimes. Arena Trap is really, really don't. Mega Sableye as well, oh god. Yeah, I don't like to play Oryu so much, so there might not even be a series with laddering. I will try and bring it back I will try to bring it back. I will try to start it on the channel, but I don't think that it will be very possible, sadly, because before I do that I need to make a better analysis of the OU meta, and for that I need to play like 200 matches more or less off screen. That takes a lot of time, a lot of time. And what I did for the OU meta in Auras was that I did a document where I wrote up every single mon that I faced, and how many times I faced it, and what role it had on the team I faced. And then I built, and then when the first 6 months come up to, well, the first 6 months that come up to 25 appearances in a specific role, then I started to build a team countering the top 50 months or something like that. Not the top 50 months, the top 15, not 50, the top 15 months from appearances. And then I started to build a team that counted those 15 months. And that put me actually in such a spot that I actually managed to go up and play pretty competitively at round 117 actually. Not that I ever got higher than 170, well, 1750, I think it is the highest I've reached in Auras. So, I mean, it worked pretty well in that sense. But, yeah, I will need to do a lot of battling, so I might not even be able to bring that series really, really well, because what you will see in the first, like, 80 episodes will be me struggling versus opponents that use stall and only stall, because I don't have a team that effectively takes away the stall from them. But if you have, say, I will bring it back, but if I bring it back, it will be more of a joking series, where I more or less use joke teams only. Not heat teams, joke teams. So yeah, that's the OU. When it comes to, was two other things that I was going to talk about. Yes, the second thing I was going to talk about real quick. Now I don't have a lot of time left. The second thing I was going to talk about was that I'm trying to do a YouTube channel that it's what's called, that is centered on teaching out history from the Swedish school plan to an international level. So if you understand that, and if you don't, I'm going to explain it either way. But if you understand that, you can jump forward a couple of minutes, I think, because it will take some time to explain. So what I mean by that is that I will create a YouTube channel that focuses on history, on how history looks in the Swedish school books, and how Swedish schools are instructed to teach out history. And with that said, I will try and look down in very specific areas of history, and I will explore those areas, and I will educate about them in a way that Swedish schools would educate about them. I've seen a lot of different methods, not just in Sweden, but all around the world. We have had examples on, and I've seen that the Swedish school system for history is actually, it's not the best. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's top 10 of what I've seen. 100%, might even be top 5. And we don't focus on a Swedish perspective only. We don't focus on a Eurocentric. We're trying to focus on an world organized. Well, we're not world organized, but I'm trying to focus on a world organized. So when I study history, and I've studied a lot of history over the last couple of years, I look down on one point in history, and then I explore it out of the connections from that point to another point in another geographic point in history. So if you have like the Romans, let's say year 475, right after the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire has fallen under. What does the world look around? How does the world look in that year? So how does the Middle East look in that year? How does China? How does North and South Africa look? North and South America and Africa look. So I try to combine everything when I study history, and I will try to put that out on the internet in a form of how shall I put it? In the form of in an educational style that is inspired from the Swedish textbooks. And I'm just gonna see here, like, this is the book that we used in my university class, and it's actually a pretty darn good book, if I say so myself. It's a very big book, and it covers almost all aspects of history from around 120,000 BC to around 2014. And I will try and make a series on another channel that would cover all of those episodes, all of those geographic areas. And if you're interested in that, write in the comments. If you're not interested in that, write in the comments and we'll say that you're not. It's not harder than that. And of course, it will take some time to do that. So that channel will not start before I have 4 or 5 manuscripts that channel will not start before I have around 5 or 6 manuscripts that I can record, not simultaneously, but that I can record and edit pretty well. And before I know how to really utilize other tools than the screen recording and putting in images and somewhat, it will be more like a presentation rather than like crash course or so. So yeah, that was the second thing. There will most likely be a history channel coming up in the next year. And the third thing is PSL. Now, I've had a lot of joy doing the PSL. I've had a lot of joy organizing the PSL. It has been really, really fun. It has taken a lot of my time though. A lot more time than I first. Wow, I can't speak any longer. It took a lot more time than I first thought it would do, and I'm aware that you can't really prepare for everything, of course. But when something that you started doing as just a fun thing takes around 4 to 5 hours a day to organize and to make sure that, and if everything is going not smoothly, but that no one is being left behind or being left outside, and you try to talk to everyone, trying to build a community around it. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of willpower to not just smack down the computer and just leave it. And it's fun to be on the server, but lately it's been a lot of more. I wouldn't say hate directly, but more of an hostile nature in the chats, in the server, and that feels really bad. Like, really, really bad. So, don't say that PSL will not continue, but when it takes so much energy, and you put in a lot of time in it, and you start feeling that some hostility is getting in the server, and I'm guilty of that as well, because I like to joke around with what is being said in the server. I will try to change that, because it's been a lot of everything. Not a lot of everything. It's been a lot of meaningless hate-like comments, I would say. And I've noticed that a lot of people come on but aren't active at all in the server, and might be because of that. And then you feel when you have worked the whole season to actually get people together, to get people to work together, and to make them actually enjoy being there, and then you see like 15% is staying here when the season has ended, and even mid-season a lot of coaches stopped responding to messages in the server. Then it takes away a lot of the focus that you want to put on it, and you start focusing, okay, why does this happen? And for me it feels like my goal is to have season 2 of PSL in the next year. I mean, not in the next year, but in the next season 2 of PSL would start around March, April next year, if everything goes as planned. And if it does go as planned, everything of this might have been unnecessary, but I still want to put it out there that if we can't have a community where everyone can speak and not getting ridiculed for anything, then, and I know that's impossible, that everyone will have the ability to speak and not get ridiculed, but I mean, we need to think more about what we write before we write it. Even if it's meant as a joke, it still takes a lot of... I mean, it's easier to see it as a joke when you're talking to people normally, like face to face or in a call. It's hard to take it as a joke when it's written. Much, much harder. And therefore, I just want to say that if the hostile nature in the chats doesn't get improved to a more welcoming atmosphere, then it might actually be hard for me to see the good in continue doing PSL and continue organizing it. Because for me, the reason we are 32 teams in the league is because I want everyone to have a chance to playing competitive Pokemon in a draft league format. Because for me, that's one of the best ways to play Pokemon. It's one of the most fun ways to do. You can be very creative with sets. It's so much fun. But when you see all of that, then you understand why people don't stay in leagues for very long, unless you are people like A-Drive or Monotui. But now, like, if you look over the last 3 years, if you look over the last 2 years, I mean, then you start to see a circle of, not a circle, but then you start to pinpoint some important aspects of the draft league community starting to descend a lot. That the people that before was like the high stake names in the draft league format completely stopped doing leagues, for a while, or it completely stopped at all. Like they didn't continue with doing leaks at all. Some just took a short break, others jumped off completely, and some even stopped playing Pokemon. And I will never stop playing Pokemon. I will never stop playing Pokemon, but I feel like if now I understand why a lot of coaches feel like it's more of a hassle than a fun thing to do leagues. Because if you can't speak in service without getting disrespected by other people, even if it's just by fun, it's hard to make it out in written text unless you know the people very well. And to know people very well, that means that you can't just know them behind the screen. You need to know the face, the nature, blah 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 blah. And that's a problem that we face right now in the PSL server, in my opinion. And therefore, I just want everyone to not take it easy, but to think through everything you write. I'm fine with like the odd misconception or misunderstanding, but if we each day send 100 messages that ends up being not misinterpreted, but that can spark a conflict, then we have a big problem to keep the community alive, and we will have an even bigger problem with keeping the genuine fun tone of Draft League format. So yeah, with this said, I just hope that you all understand what I'm saying and think through what you write. And this has been half an hour video. That was not the meaning at first. This was just meant to be like a short update video, but I felt like I needed to talk about this like in a video rather than in the server, because in the server it will just disappear. Here everyone will have a chance to actually hear what I'm saying, and it's very, very important for me, because if that doesn't happen, and people don't listen to this and don't watch the whole video, I won't blame them. But if someone feel like it's a very hostile nature in the server and just leaves right out because of that, then I will feel very bad, because as organizer, it's my responsibility that everyone, organizer of the PSL, it's my responsibility that everyone is welcome in the league. And then we can't have we can have the odd discussion, and we can have the odd discussion. We can have a lot of discussions, no problem there. But we can have the odd rage discussion, or hate discussion, or whatever you want to call it. And that's fine for me. But when I wake up and I see like 4 or 5 different discussions in different servers with coaches from the PSL and ABL, and even between fans in the ABL fan server, and it feels like everyone is instigating fights between each other just for the fun of it. And for me, that's not fun at all. It takes away from the fun to actually doing Draft League formats, and to even be in the server sometimes. So I will not, I'm just going to say this right now, I will not be on the server as much in the next, well, I mean, I will be on for about 3 or 4 weeks, pretty much all of the time, but then I will not be on every single day, every single time. I will not have Discord open every single time. I've actually turned off notifications on my telephone completely from Discord, because most of the time I just feel like it's distracting, and the fun of reading the messages, it's still fun to read them, but most of the time it's just like the like nagging. It's just nagging, and that takes away the fun from being part of it. It really does. And I don't mean that you have to change as a person or change how you write, but I'm just asking you all to think through what you're writing because it's actually getting a bit annoying. To every time when you, as an organizer, open up your phone or your Discord on the computer, and you see 200 messages or 800 messages across servers, and most of it are messages that are instigating a fight between people. And I don't like to see that, because for me this should be not an event, but this should be a forum for us to, as fans of the Pokemon games, we should be able to come together and create something fantastic, and being part of something fantastic. And I really hope that you think that PSL and ABL and whatever other leagues you're part of feels like that way, or close to that at least. Because if not, we might have a problem in the future with more of these comments. But I just wanted to put it out there that it might be hard for me. Well, it might be hard for every one of us to continue doing PSL if the nature of the chat doesn't get better. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, because it's all of our responsibility to make sure that there is a good, welcoming nature in the chat, almost like we had back in May when we started. And if we can go back to that, nature of the chat, we might actually be able to grow even more and actually do better things. And I don't know if you have noticed that the PSL off-season was going to start around this week, and I don't know what's happened with that. I am not organizing that, but it feels like that is coming to... It feels like it won't happen, or at least the first 3 weeks or so might happen, then it will just die off. And it's just sad to see, and I feel like it's part of the everyday nagging in the comments, in the servers. So I just wanted to put this out there. So this will just be a video of my face, no music, nothing like that, and I just hope that we can come together even more and be more supportive, and rather than nagging in the chats of the PSL server and even in the ABL server. I know that I can't really ask that of the ABL server because I'm not responsibility for it. I don't have the highest responsibility for it. It's not my it's still my responsibility. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not the one overlooking it. Oh no, that's even worse. Come on. Well, yeah, I'm losing the words completely, guys. So if you have stayed here for all of the 34 minutes that this video will go on, thank you. If not, I will leave a timestamp in the comment section, in the description of where this part will begin. And without further ado, I will see you next time, whenever that will be. It might not be for 3 months. It might not be for 3 months, but it should be, if everything works as planned. If I just can get the new patch for QuickTime for me, then I should actually be able to start recording late next week or in 2 weeks' time. And if not, there might be like 1 or 2 discussion videos with just my voice and me just adding pictures into the movie editor and talking about some things. I don't really know how to do that, or I don't really know what to talk about, rather, but we will see. We will fix that in some way. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching this video. I really hope that we can fix the tone fix the tone in the PSL server and even in the ABL server. My goal is that we start PSL Season 2 in March, April, because we should be fine with all tierings at that time. That time in the season, whatever we should call it. If not, then it will be May, June again. So that's that. It was something else that I was going to do in the conclusion here. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all, guys. Whatever that was. The main point of this video is that I can't record on my computer because of a patch problem with QuickTime that I got when I updated the computer. And that we need to change the nature of the messages in the PSL chat, because, well, for me it's taking the fun away from it for me, with all of this. It isn't negative comments or negative messages that we send to each other, but it feels like it's a lot of nagging and it's a lot of you have to choose side and this and that and this and that, and it feels just like it feels bad. So I hope we can change that. And, well, 37 minutes now, guys, and I've took on way too much. This was meant to be like a 15-minute update video, and it's been a 37-minute update video. And yeah, I will see you next time, whenever that will be.